Well, thank you all for being here, and this is the last time you'll ever hear me in uniform, so that alone is cause for applause. Mr. President, Madam Vice President, Secretary Austin, distinguished guests, and family and friends, good morning, and thank you all for being here today. And Mr. President, thank you for your unwavering leadership, guiding our great nation, and the trust you placed in me. When you were inaugurated, you didn't have to do that, but you did, and I appreciate it. Your steadfast commitment to our troops and their families has strengthened our military, making us stronger and more capable than ever before. And I've seen you in the breach. I've seen you on the watch. And I know firsthand that you're a man of incredible integrity and character. So thank you for your leadership. And Secretary Austin, thank you for leading our department with character and courage and also incredible integrity. You served our nation consistently for nearly 5 decades now, in and out of uniform. A Silver Star recipient, a man of enormous courage, both moral and physical. I am personally thankful for your guidance and your vision over the last 30 years that you and I have served together in peace and war. To the members of Congress, I want to take a moment and just acknowledge the tremendous service of Senator Feinstein. And may she rest in peace in the eternal embrace of God's comfort. And to all of her colleagues on the Hill, in the Senate and the House, and all the elected officials that are here today, and those that are not, you collectively demonstrate the American will. And we are viewed as either unified or divisive. That is your choice. But everybody watches. We in uniform appreciate your current support, and we count on your future support. And to our allies and partners, your presence demonstrates our shared interests and common values, and our robust network of allies and partners is a key source of our collective strength. Since the American Revolution, the United States of America has never fought alone. I'd also like to thank all the former Secretaries of Defense and the Secretaries of the Services and former Secretaries of the Services that are here today, along with the current Joint Chiefs, the former Joint Chiefs, the current combatant commanders, the former combatant commanders, and all the generals and dignitaries that are here. A special thanks goes to my Joint Staff and my front office, who gave a robust clap-out when I left yesterday. Had double meaning. They were exceptional under intense pressure in a fast-paced environment where the costs were high. Over the last 40-plus years, my thanks also goes to all my former commanding officers and non-commissioned officers, many of whom are here today. My teammates at platoon and company, battalion, brigade, division, corps, and beyond. Way too many to mention by name, but each of you in your own way provided me with the advice, mentorship, and support, and I am eternally grateful. There's also 3 groups of people here today. Special recognition and to represent the very best of our nation. We have here today several Medal of Honor recipients who serve with uncommon valor beyond the call of duty. They are the epitome of courage in the face of death. And second is our wounded warriors who are here today, one of whom you saw earlier sing God Bless America. They represent the thousands of those wounded in action who sacrificed so much in the defense of liberty. And third, our Gold Star families. Many of them are here today. They carry on the legacy of those in uniform who gave the last full measure of devotion so that our nation would remain free. To the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardians, and Coast Guardsmen, many of whom are standing watch at this very moment and are represented on the field before you. Thank you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your sacrifice. You are, in fact, the most capable and lethal military force in the world today and in all of human history. And let me thank my family and friends that are here, to include my classmates from Princeton, so maybe we could hear you shout. That was pretty weak, actually, so not sure what to make of that. But I was made an honorary member of the class of 1980 from West Point, so all the West Point classmates, maybe we could hear from you. Oh, that's even weaker. Let me go back to Princeton. That's all a result of last night. So, and of course, my actual family deserves my greatest and deepest gratitude. I was blessed with great parents who taught me what it meant to serve and how lucky we were to be born in America, in a country where you will rise or fall based on your merit and where you're going to be judged by the content of your character. My mother was a Navy wave in a military hospital in Seattle, taking care of the wounded, returning from the Central Pacific during World War II, while my father served with the 4th Marine Division as a Navy corpsman in the Central Pacific, making the assault landings at Kwajalein, Saipan, Tinian, and Iwo Jima. Neither one of them ever went to college, but they knew what this country was about. They were working-class Americans who taught me and my siblings the values that truly make this country great. My father taught me that you have to plant the flag on Suribachi. That was a lesson he took from Iwo Jima. He meant that no matter the challenge, no matter how difficult it is, no matter the cost, you must accomplish your mission. You have to drive on. You have to be resilient. You have to keep moving forward until you complete your mission. There is no quitting. Like most kids, we owe our parents everything. I also want to recognize my cousins who are here, the McCalls and the Murphys and so many others that are with us today. And my older brother Sandy is here with his wife and sons, and our sister Mary Catherine, who recently passed, but I know she, along with our parents, are here in spirit. But most importantly, I want to say thanks to my wife of 38 years, Holly Ann. You've been the anchor of our family, essentially a single mom to 2 wonderful kids during 2 decades of war, like so many other spouses of those of us in uniform. You buried our dead. You comforted the families in their grief. You cared for our wounded in ways not seen by most. You were always there for our military families with love and compassion in the darkest of moments. I know you never expected the heavy burden of being married to someone like me, but the good Lord blessed me to have you walk this path of struggle for the last 40 years. I love you more than words can ever express. And to Mary and Peter, the sacrifice of those of us in the military is felt by our families, but most of all, most heavily, the burden falls on our children. You attended 11 different schools and 24 moves. Mary, you were just born when I went into Panama. And you were 12 and Peter was 10 when terrorists attacked this country on 9/11. And you watched your dad deploy year in and year out for the next decade and a half. You dealt with struggles that children should never have to be burdened with. The fear that your father would never come home. Some of the fathers and mothers of your friends were in fact killed in action, and others were wounded. And you saw that trauma, you saw that pain, you saw that agony through the eyes of a child. And you, like the children of every soldier, sacrificed more than most in this crowd will ever know. But through it all, you have persevered. And you've grown into incredible adults with families of your own. You make me and Mom so proud of everything you've done and everything you will do. I could not have made it through 4.5 decades of military service without each of you. I'm deeply honored to have worn the cloth of this nation for 43.5 years, and I'm humbled to have served as the 20th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The Joint Force, as I said, is the most lethal and capable military in the world, and our enemies know it. We are currently standing watch on freedom's frontier with a 250,000 troops deployed in 150 countries. In the last 4 years, we've executed countless operations, exercises, and training around the world. We've destroyed ISIS and served justice to Baghdadi. We've supported Ukraine in their fight for freedom against Putin's war of aggression and strengthened the NATO alliance. We maintained stability in Asia. We fought terrorists in Africa and the Middle East. We defended the homeland, provided support in countless disasters, protected the American people during COVID. And more than 800,000 of us served in Afghanistan. And to each of you, be proud that you protected this country for 20 consecutive years at great cost, with 2,326 killed in action and 20,713 of us wounded, alongside your brave colleagues from CIA and FBI and Department of State and USAID and many others from our government and our allies and partners. Hold your head high. You served, you did what your country asked, and each of you served with honor, courage, skill, and dignity. And never forget that. Today, our joint force is ready. Right now, as we are here at Fort Myer on this field, there are 60 to 100 United States Navy warships sailing the 7 seas to ensure freedom of navigation. And our Coast Guard has saved countless lives at sea. Right now, in the last 24 hours, we flew over 5,000 sorties. And we do that every day to protect our homeland, support our allies, and keep the skies safe. Our Space Force is rapidly expanding into that new domain. And our Army and Marines are currently forward deployed to maintain peace and stability throughout the world. And simultaneously, this joint force is preparing for the future. We're investing in capabilities to sustain our military overmatch and modernize the force. And our pace forward will not stop. General C.Q. Brown is the right leader to accelerate change. He's the right man at the right time to carry on the mission of this great military. CQ knows how to lead a global fighting force. He will build combat readiness, and there's no doubt he will meet the challenges of tomorrow. And beside him is his wife Shireen and their sons, who have been pillars of support throughout this journey. Congratulations to you and your family. And CQ, we look forward to your leadership over the next 4 years. You're a man of character and integrity, and that is your most important quality. So thank you, CQ, for what you're about to do. But today is not about anyone up here on this stage. It's not about the President, the Secretary of Defense, me, CQ. It's not about us. It's about something much larger than all of us. It's about our democracy. It's about our republic. It's about the colors posted behind me. It's about the ideas and the values that make up this great experiment in liberty. Those values and ideas are contained within the Constitution of the United States of America, which is the moral North Star for all of us who have the privilege of wearing the cloth of our nation. It is that document, the idea that is America, it is that document that gives purpose to our service. It is that document that gives purpose to our lives. It is that document that all of us in uniform swear to protect and defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That has been true across generations, and we in uniform are willing to die to pass that document off to the next generation. So it is that document that gives ultimate purpose to our death. The motto of our country is E pluribus unum. From the many come one. We are one nation under God. We are indivisible with liberty for all. And the motto of our Army for over 200 years, since 14 June 1775, when a company of Pennsylvania riflemen formed it. The motto has been, "This we'll defend," and that this refers to the Constitution of the United States, that we, the people, in order to form a more perfect union, to protect the liberty of this country. You see, we in uniform are unique. We are unique among the world's armies. We are unique among the world's militaries. We don't take an oath to a country. We don't take an oath to a tribe. We don't take an oath to a religion. We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator. We don't take an oath to an individual. We take an oath to the Constitution, and we take an oath to the idea that is America, and we're willing to die to protect it. Every soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, Guardian, and Coast Guardsman, each of us commits our very life to protect and defend that document, regardless of personal price, and we are not easily intimidated. More than 1.1 million in uniform have paid the supreme sacrifice, to include the 400,000 that rest in eternal peace at Arlington National Cemetery. Those who sacrificed themselves on the altar of freedom in the last 2.5 centuries of this country must not have done so in vain. The millions wounded in our nation's wars did not sacrifice their limbs and shed their blood to see this great experiment in democracy perish from this earth. No, we, the United States military, will always be true to those that came before us. We will never, under any circumstances, turn our back on our duty. Thomas Paine famously wrote in his pamphlet, The Crisis, "Times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country. But he that stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of men and women. And tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. From the earliest days, before we were even a nation, our military stood there. It stood on the wall, it stood in the breach, it suffered the crucible of combat, and it stood the watch and defended liberty for all Americans. Each of us signs a blank check to this country to protect our freedom. The blood we spill pays for our freedom of speech. Our blood pays for the right to assemble, our due process, our freedom of the press, our right to vote, and all the other rights and privileges that come with being an American. It is the blood of our fallen, it is the blood of our wounded that sustains our freedom, and we should always be inspired by them. We should never forget them, and we should always honor them. That is why my father's uncle fought and was wounded at the Meuse-Argonne in 1918. That's why his other uncle fought and was hurt at Gallipoli in 1916. That's why my uncle, my father's brother, was at Normandy, and while my mother's brother was in the Philippines. That is why yet another uncle fought in Korea, and my cousins fought in Vietnam. That is why my mother treated those returning from the Pacific And that is why my father hit the beach at Iwo Jima. So that we, the people, in order to form that more perfect union, may enjoy the fruits of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We, the American people, we, the American military, must never turn our back on those that came before us. And we will never turn our back on the Constitution. That is our North Star. That is who we are, and that is why we fight. Thank you, and may God bless our military, and may God bless the United States of America.